I was always a weird kid. When other kids my age were suffering from the back to school blues, I was full of excitement. Oddly enough, a big part of that excitement was going to Barnes & Noble and getting a new planner. From the time I was around 9 or so, I counted down the days until we could take our trip to Barnes & Noble and I could pick a new planner. My favorite one looked something like this and had a peacock on it. Many people don't consider the link between organization, creativity, and success, but that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. About 3 years ago, I found out about the bullet journal method, which according to the official bullet journal website, bulletjournal.com, is a mindfulness practice disguised as a productivity system. Since then, I have used the bullet journal system to help organize the present, plan the future, and reflect on the past. The bullet journal method helps to organize one's thoughts in the present and helps them to create plans for goals in the future. I have heard many times and from many different places that we are more likely to achieve our goals if we write them down. Forbes, in their article, Neuroscience Explains Why You Need to Write Down Your Goals If You Actually Want to Achieve Them, that the generation effect, which states that individuals tend to have a better memory for those things which they generate themselves, helps people to visualize their goals and then keep them in their brains. Visualizing the goal and then writing them down is a double whammy according to Forbes. Keeping it in your brain for a little bit longer because you're both having to visualize it and then writing it down. The bullet journal allows the journalist to create their own space within the journal to detail their goals. This can be goals for the day, the week, the month, or future goals. It also allows for rumination on those goals, which steps have been taken toward success. Does the goal need to be adjusted or reevaluated? Questions like those can be answered and documented within the journal. Journaling in general has benefits for mental health. Journaling has been shown to help manage anxiety, help prioritize problems, fears, and concerns, and help to reduce stress, according to the University of Rochester Medical Center. Journaling helps individuals to process and sort out emotions, which will overall affect them positively. Using the bullet journal how I do, as a combination planner and journal, helps people to reap these benefits because you have both sides of it. I use mine one page as a planner, writing down the day's tasks, goals, things I need to accomplish, and then the next page is a reflection. Reflection on gratitude, reflection on how I was feeling that day. That really helps you to sort it out. Bullet journal creator, writer Carol discusses in his TED Talk X on intentionality and how he came up with the method in order to manage his ADD. He wrote this book chronicling the bullet journal method and how he created it and used it and perfected it to not only better himself, but help other people better themselves. Now that he says his ADD isn't an issue, he still uses the bullet journal method because he finds it beneficial for his everyday life. Bullet journaling combines organization with creativity, and although there is one bullet journal method, there are endless ways to apply it. One of my favorite things about the bullet journal format is its versatility. Because there is no set layout like in a traditional planner, there's room for growth, changes, movement, and really figuring out what you need your journal to do for you. My first bullet journal was a topsy-turvy amalgamation of different bullet journal templates I had seen online. I can't tell you how many times I redid pages, went over back and forth, trying to figure out what would really work. And honestly, there were so many different sources for bullet journal information, and so many of them were artistic that I was overwhelmed. There was a trial and error involved in finding out what worked best for me, and 3 years later I'm still making changes depending on how my life is unfolding and what I need from my bullet journal. Some days the planner part's longer, some days the journal part is longer. Really, it's all managing and figuring out what's working best for you. Resources on bullet journaling are also bountiful. Many Tumblr, Instagram, Twitter accounts chronicle their journal, bullet journal journey and are devoted to the art. And many of those bloggers, grammars, and tweeters share their stories. They talk about how they've made the method their own and how bullet journaling has benefited their lives. One of the websites that I visited when starting my bullet journal journey was Bohoberry. Kara, better known by her pseudonym Bohoberry, chronicles her bullet journal journey on social media and has garnered a large following of people who looked for her advice and information regarding bullet journaling. She also does videos that show calligraphy, different bullet points, things that she uses and incorporates into her journal. She also keeps a digital journal, which is fascinating because she has on an iPad with a stylus. So overall, I hope that this has inspired you to take some time, make some small changes in your lives, and journal. Even if the bullet journal method isn't for you, spend a little bit of time every day writing down your thoughts and feelings, in order to reap the benefits journaling has on mental health. And write down your goals. Make the time to write down your goals, reflect on them, visualize clearly, and keep them in the forefront of your mind. Thank you so much for your time today, and I'd like to open the floor for questions.
So would you suggest using different colors for your journal?
A lot of people use different colors within their journal. I use different colors mostly to identify what type of activity I needed to do. If it was, say, February and it was purple, it was important. If it was blue, it could be done within the week. If it was orange, it could be done within the month. So it really depends on your organization style and how you want to organize the journal to make it work best for you. I also use different colors for different months, and a lot of people do really fantastic, amazing doodles and pictures, which is part of why it was so overwhelming. I used washi tape on the top of mine to indicate what day, month, what was going on the page. It's also great because people use them to keep lists and collections, so books you want to read, movies you want to watch, things like that. Any other questions?
Do you find that journaling or the actual bullets help more with anxiety and other mental issues that you might have?
I think honestly, the bullets help the most because it really helps to organize and make sense of the day. The journaling helps more with understanding kind of feelings and working through maybe any anxieties I've had that day, any strong emotions I felt that day. But really laying out the plan, working with those bullets, checking off things is what works for me. I like to see those check marks. I like to make the lists and see that, yes, I've done that.
Do they make bullet journals that are already organized for you that you can just fill in your own thoughts?
So the original bullet journal, which I know sounds kind of ridiculous, but that journal has a pre-created index. The pages are pre-numbered, and they kind of give you a guideline to work with. But the best part, and really what the bullet journal is all about, is being able to create that space yourself. I used a gridded Moleskine notebook. Took me about 20 minutes to number the pages myself when I first started it. And I go through that every time, but really it's a matter of making it your own. The pre-created bullet journals are nice though because the pages are numbered. It has that index for you where you can still make it your own but keep that organization. And there are several different notebooks that are suggested for bullet journaling. The Moleskine was just my favorite. Thank you guys so much for your time today.